please start the town council meeting. All right. I'll call the meeting to order, council meeting to order, and will the clerk please call the roll.
Councilmember Hagenau.
Present.
Councilmember Kerr.
Here.
Councilmember Carmona.
Still here.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Here.
Councilmember Thistad.
Present.
Mayor Riley.
Present.
There are 6 members present.
Thank you very much. The first item is to approve the agenda. Can I have a motion to, any discussion first? No discussion, can I have a motion?
So moved.
Been moved, is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All hearing no discussion on that. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The agenda is approved. We now have an opportunity for communications to council, and I would like to invite anyone in the audience, I guess Lindsay, and anyone online if they'd like to speak to council on any topic. Is there anyone online? No? In that case, the communications to council section is closed.
Mayor, we do have someone raising their hand now.
All right. That's Christy Camp.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble with my camera, but can you hear me?
Yes, Christy, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. I just would like to compliment the council and Lindsay for hosting the community visioning workshop with RTAP and the college students who led the workshop. I believe this workshop was very positive and will have positive impacts. And as I'm building community nearby in Summit County, especially at Summit Cove Elementary, I can tell you these students in the 5th grade have beautiful visions for a nature-based community, and this workshop gave me great courage to support the students to continue their efforts to brainstorm and have positive solutions and want to connect with their community to have positive impact. So I thought it was very positive and I'm appreciative. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christy. Any other comments? Online?
I did have a point of question for the comment period.
Yes.
I had a constituent ask if there was a way to digitally submit a comment. Is there a good email? And if there is an email, would that get read here? Or could you explain the process maybe for that?
You know, I've found such policies can be, anyone is more than welcome to email me or the town clerk and ask it to be passed on to you, or to email you directly.
Okay, so it wouldn't be necessarily read here, it would just be more communicated to council?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Then, no other comments? The next item is the consent agenda, which includes the first reading of ordinance 2025-0-07, resolution 2025, first reading of ordinance 2025-0-07 and resolution 2025-11. In the meeting minutes and the accounts payable list. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Hagenau.
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Kerr. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. The next item on the agenda is report of the town manager and staff.
I'm going to let our community development director give a brief report first, and then I'll jump in on
So So the community development director's been a little busy. First of all, I have 6 things I want to update you on. First of all is in your packet you got the draft advertisement for the Open Space and Trails Committee. If you have any comments or concerns, or if I missed something, please let me know. I'd like to get that out as soon as possible. I guess the only other thing I'm going to say is I don't know how big of a committee is appropriate. I'm more concerned with geographically finding applicants throughout the entire town. So more to come on that once I do get some applications in, but that is certainly underway.
Ask a question about that?
Absolutely.
Thank you for putting that together. I guess my primary question is, it didn't seem to reference any qualifications, and I'm guessing there aren't any qualifications for being on the committee, but should we at least acknowledge that there aren't any qualifications and anybody can be on it?
I'll take another look at that. I'll take another look. I do believe I did put something in for planning commission, so I will investigate that. Tomorrow, Andrew and I are going over to the county. We're a little ahead of schedule, maybe, with regards to working with the Open Space and Trails Department and maybe the Attorney's Office regarding an inventory of all the county-owned open space and trails, not only through dedication, but through other instruments, including easements. So that'll be very, very interesting. I don't believe it's completely done, but we want to make sure they're going in the right direction with regards to that. The concept with that is once a comprehensive list is done, we will draft a resolution to take all those from the county to the town. And Jennifer will be instrumental in helping me with that. And the spirit of cooperation with the Attorney's Office with the county seems to be very good right now with regards to that issue. Your side,
Do you expect any issues with the county on any of the stuff that we're talking about?
I think we need to see the data and all the different pieces before we comment on that. I mean, some of it's going to be very easy and some of it's going to be somewhat complicated, is my guess. I have put out we have drafted and got a signed contract with SE Group to do the North Side Highway 6 connectivity study. So they are going to look at ways and methods to get people on the north side of Highway 6 to the funnel points and safe crossings and suggestions for sidewalks, basically. That actually commenced today with regards to a very preliminary inventory.
Are you considering the Razor Drive crosswalk a safe point, or are you only considering the green passes?
It depends on how fast you are. It will be part of the inventory, but it'll come with suggestions as well. So, wildlife grant, a wildfire grant, I apologize. We did apply for a wildfire grant for this property. I'm working with Summit Fire and EMS and Red, White, and Blue, and the Wildfire Council with regards to that application. We did get the grant in on time. We'll see. It's an interesting one because I had other motives with regards to the grant itself for this property. It will run, hopefully, in conjunction with a piece of property, I always do this backwards, over in this direction and St. John's. So the whole toe of that slope will be addressed with St. John. With that, so I think it'll form a degree of cooperation, and it'll certainly speak volumes for that stretch of the town. We did apply for the RMS grant with the Highway 6 improvement that we've been talking about in front of Brightwood. Unfortunately, our initial grant was denied. We're applying for, well, we're going to appeal that decision. It has to be in by Friday. We're going to do that. John has worked on the NMOF grant as a backup. So more to come on that. And the RTAP team, the CU team, would like to make a physical presentation with you. They are somewhat constrained. They're going to do a virtual one on April 29th at, I believe, 4 o'clock. I'll get you that date. But they would like to do one in person with you. And as of right now, the only dates that they have available, I tried to get it on a meeting date, is May 5th or 6th at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I know that is tough. I know you have plenty of meetings, but as of right now, that's what I can get from that team to make a in-person presentation.
And I think I'm the one who suggested that to them, and my thought behind it was it wouldn't just be a presentation to council because we could listen to the online one. It would be a town-wide meeting to hear the results of that report, the result of that work. So it would get more people in the community involved in thinking about the visioning work and the work that they did.
I think that'd be great full circle too, because a lot of people took time out of their days to be here. And so if we could put it in a nice bow for them, well, the CT can do that.
Yes, and along those lines, it was a wonderful way to test the water with regards to public outreach. So we learned a lot from that process, and now we know where else to focus. So, do we have a preference on the 5th or 6th? Cinco de Mayo, or?
Any preferences?
So it's Monday or Tuesday.
Monday? All right, Monday, 4 o'clock.
Sure, I'll be in Las Vegas.
Okay, was that again?
Center City.
I go Tuesday.
And would it be held in the evening?
4 p.m. as of right now.
Tuesday would be
And
my
probably
preference.
gonna change that.
What? All right. But
Tuesday's my preference, but if everyone else works for Monday, I can, I just won't be there.
yeah, I'm not a player, so in that case, it sounds like Tuesday, which is better for John.
Sorry.
Tuesday at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
If that time changes, but that was the last I heard.
All right.
I will get that in motion. So that is all I have for updates.
All right.
Do you mind, maybe you covered this at a prior time, I apologize if it's redundant, but do you mind elaborating on what the wildfire grant is intended to accomplish? Is that too
Yes.
premature?
So basically what has transpired with that is Summit Fire and EMS, Wildland Fire Division came on the property and did inventory of the property and did a evaluation, if you will, of the property. And basically I submitted that along with the grant itself. It's 50% of the cost. Our best figure is it's a 5.75 acre parcel. It's in the neighborhood of 5,000 an acre. It could go up to 75, it could go down a little, but that would be it, and the county would match the 50% of funds.
So it would be out of the Strong Futures Fund?
Yes, thank you.
Are you saying that 5K is our 50% match, or that's the total per acre?
I estimate, and do not hold me to this,
Right.
I estimate it to be in the neighborhood of $25,000, of which we would be responsible for half.
Okay, thanks.
And you'd mentioned that there's other parcels. Is that 25,000 just our portion of it?
Yes, that's just ours. Vale has been working cooperatively with the fire district as well, and St. John, thank you, is in the same position we are with regards to the application. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but it's been good so far. And if it works, I might, in the future, work on maybe the town wants to develop something with regards to the grant program. But let's get through this season, and I think it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to get that program going.
Other questions? Councilmember Pfister.
A plug for Summit Fire District. We're really lucky to have a wildland fire division. It's been in place for 3 years. It's a really specialized division, and I think it holds a lot of potential for the town of Keystone in terms of our wildfire mitigation and also just defense if the worst should happen.
There's a lot of money that's going to be asked for in this grant process coming out of the town of Keystone. There are probably 6 or 8 or more HOAs in Keystone that are submitting grant applications this year as well.
I saw the tentative list last week, and Keystone, which is wonderful, certainly is a dominance in the grants that have applied thus far.
Any other questions for Community Development Director? Mr. Town Manager?
Okay, first I'll start with the 2 things we skipped in the workshop. The refuse container grant, I told you all I would be bringing something this workshop. I did not bring something this workshop because Thursday I'm meeting with Troy Davis, who administers Colorado Parks and Wildlife. They have a bear-proof grant program themselves. So I'm meeting with him, see how much money we can get out of that to help our citizens. Next meeting, I'll be bringing that to you.
Last year, Summit County got $115,000 out of $1 million in the statewide budget for it when they implemented it.
Mr. Davis, in my discussions with him already, is pretty happy with the steps Keystone has taken, and just passing the ordinance regardless and making the requirements. So I'm cautiously optimistic we'll know more next time. And then the retreat, next week we will be sending out basic. Councilmember Perman?
I just had 2 thoughts. One was, with the state budget cuts, are we anticipating that assistance fund may be much smaller?
No, because the assistance fund for this year was budgeted in the previous budget.
And the second thought is, I guess, more of a question. I'll ask it later.
So in the retreat next week, we will be sending you out a basic outline of what we're looking at the retreat, and the mayor, the attorney, and I have been working on fully comprehensive list of projects that we need to get done, staff and council, and I'll be sending that out to you. These are things that we can't really push off, but will be part of our prioritizing projects too. So if you see something in the list that we have somehow overlooked or that you think needs to go on, just let me know before the retreat, please. And
Where is it?
that's what I'm getting to next. I haven't booked a room yet. We should hold it in one of the other communities. It's a public meeting. It's open to the public. It's also a meeting where we really need good, unadulterated feedback from council on priorities. I've actually talked to Councilmember Hagenow about getting one of their meeting rooms at the Gravity House in Breckenridge. Food is right there. It's easy enough for us all to get to, and that'll be April 17th from 9 to 3 p.m. We will not get everything we want to get done in this retreat. We could do it for 5 days. We wouldn't get everything we want done in this retreat. And I found after 6 hours of meetings, no good ideas will happen after 3 p.m. if we stick to it. So we'll have the room from 8 to 5, so it's not.
And John Stabney will be
facilitator. Yes, correct.
Will, and sorry if I missed it, will we be, having digital records of this, or will there be live stream where it's like open to comment person?
No. But it is an open meeting, so if someone wants to show up and
Gotcha.
stand against that wall, they're allowed to. Okay, now I'll go through the rest of my report. I'm doing that slightly different way than I've done it before. First, I'll give some updates on our sections. I'll start with the clerk. So far, we have 2 applicants for the vacant council position. We have been advertising in the paper. It's on our website. Just today, our clerk sent out emails to KOA and KNC for them to circulate to anyone they can who wants to apply. Applications are due April 1st. If you are listening to this or viewing it later and interested, it's a great opportunity actually to build a town. Not many people can say they've done that. Councilmember Durr.
I froze here. You're talking about the ad. Oh, are we sending it out to our email list as well?
Yeah, we've already done that, right?
Yes.
Okay. And the newspaper ad did not have the 1 April suspense.
Okay, okay. Missed that, I'm
I
sorry.
didn't know if it was on purpose.
Yeah, no, so April 1st is the deadline, end of the day, please. If you are interested, please be interested, people. We upped our contract with Blue Vector to make improvements, analyze, and expand our AI program to encompass other town functions as it works. First, we're going to make sure that we're going to focus on the SDR and the licensing that we originally contracted with and our analysis of that. So, Public Works, we're contacting and getting ready to hire our road striper to come in. We don't have a whole lot of striping that we're responsible for, but we do have a significant number of crosswalks. I can't believe how many crosswalks in your neighborhood, Councilmember Sullivan.
They walk on.
And stop lines and occasional double yellows at intersections and such. And we're making sure that we're properly striping too, according to the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Standards on how roads should be, what road should be striped and how that should be striped. We're going to be putting out RFPs for the Brightwood sidewalk as soon as we finish the permitting process with CDOT. It is a CDOT right-of-way permit. And for the Ranch Road rebuild. So we'll be getting that RFP out very soon. That's just that small section around the corner by the purchasing warehouse down there. As our community development director pointed out earlier, we were not awarded the CDOT Main Street grant because they felt it didn't show a proper connection to enhancing Main Street. So we're appealing, explaining we don't have Main Street, we have these commercial pods, And one of these commercial pods is the lakeside area, and it definitely enhances the lakeside area as part of our Main Street. The other grant that I applied for is an IMTPR grant. It's a multimodal opportunity fund grant. And I think we have a really good chance of getting a significant amount of money from that grant. This project ties into absolutely everything they're looking for that. Might be a better fit, but we're going to keep trying for the other one too. Just because we don't have a Main Street doesn't mean we don't need to start building one, and or at least access to one. We're doing an inventory on potholes that can't wait for summer right now and need to be repaired. Please be careful turning on the Highway 6 off St. John Road as you go east. And we're working on CDOT 2 to figure out exactly what their timeline and plans are. It's time to mill and overlay Highway 6 unless they want to have serious construction costs in the very near future. And this is not just your typical road, as we point out to CDOT. It's really an extension of I-70 since you require a certain amount of I-70 traffic to go over it. And we are going to be contracting for grading, putting down new gravel, and make chloride in Loveland Pass Village. So these things are all going on this week, along with numerous other things. Had a good meeting with our chief of police, who was on earlier, doesn't look like he's still there. We have an OSI number finally. We are someone in the world of crime. They're finishing up interviews for the positions they're hiring so they can ramp up here. They've already made a few hires. They've almost finished a new logo for their patches and the cars. Dylan and Keystone on the other side. So,
are we going to get a chance to look at the logo and approve it?
Yes. Yeah. They're acquiring tech and having discussions with the town center on how to keep operating. The new police department doesn't change anything on how you reach the police. 911 is still 911, and the non-emergency number for the comm center is still the same number you would call if you have a non-emergency issue that you need police help for. It's important that people follow that protocol. That way you have a complete record from beginning to end on any issues that any of our citizens bring up. And the chief has proposed May 27th, that's a meeting day for us and Dylan, that we have a joint workshop somewhere with a swearing in ceremony for our police and possibly our judge, and I guess prosecutor doesn't need to be sworn in. At that time, depending on, well, we won't have anything in municipal court before June 1st anyways.
So I love that idea. How would that work strategically? We would have the first or last portion of the meeting would be this joint session.
Probably very first, and depending on loads, it might be like a 3 p.m.
But then we would split off into our own respective groups and be able to conduct our own business.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so that's
So would that just be a ceremonious getting together?
Yes.
No briefings or anything?
No briefing, ceremony, get together, get some good pictures for the paper so people understand there's a new police in town.
Does the police department plan on having a present? I know that we had talked about the start date, but we're also paying for it at a time. Do they plan on having a presence in the community events that are coming up in the next couple, weeks as the season ends, so there's a little bit of a presence viewing that there's police here?
Yes, they will be, and actually they have been here. I've seen them driving around our neighborhoods often. They've gone into many of our businesses, met with the shop owners, met with the business owners and managers. I think they're doing a pretty good job of outreach already, and that's one of the key things actually we discussed. A big part of Resort Police Department is community outreach. It's being seen, knowing that they're part of the community, not opposed to the community, not out to get the community, but they're our neighbors. Okay, so now I'll go through some things. We had a mayor's, managers, and commissioners meeting since we last met. You may have read in the paper, the mayor pointed it out to me. The school, their tax issues failed. My recollection, the superintendent mentioned the fact that districts can have a sales tax. But he also said they have no interest whatsoever in going for a sales tax. If you read the article in the Summit Daily News, it might have given kind of a different impression. I believe we as a town would likely not support the school going for a sales tax. I don't think any of the municipalities actually would. It's, we, as our finance director pointed out, we have some pretty high sales tax in the other communities at least, and that's our potential future if our citizens want to do things above and beyond, like opening a rec center or something like that. Had a brief opening meeting about the Mountain Towns 2030 Coalition, a basic outline of the schedule. They're anticipating a lot of people showing up at this meeting, like over 500. When is it?
That would be October. It's the same time as our October 5th and 6th, I think, is Mountain Town 2030. And October 7th is the cast meeting that we're hosting here. So the cast meeting will be a full meeting.
And is there an invitation out?
Not
I don't
yet.
remember.
Not yet.
Yes. Because Mountain Town 2030, but they already have 500 people there.
No, they're anticipating.
Okay.
And that's out of Breckenridge, right?
That, those meetings will be held at Breckenridge. And
The cast's technically here, but it seems like that there's gonna be a really big time with Breckenridge, right?
well, there are 2 days of meetings with Mountain Town 2030 before the cast.
Gotcha.
And a lot of members of Mountain Town 2030 are also members of CAST. And there are members who don't necessarily show up at the CAST meetings from Utah, from Wyoming, from other states, who will likely be here because of Mountain Town 2030.
So is there a possibility, and I know this is a ways away, but Breckenridge seemed to do a really good job at the last cast meeting to highlight aspects of their town, right? Is that our plan is to try to highlight aspects of Keystone that we're proud about and see the future in?
Well, we'll work out. This is not the big meeting like Brett. The big meetings are held during the ski season. So even though we're going to have a large turnout, yes, we are going to be pushing Keystone hard at this meeting.
Not to belabor that point, but I agree with Jonathan. I don't know, I called you Jonathan, council member, hanging out. When we went to Durango, which was not ski season, they made a point of having several of their agenda items at different locations that actually enthused us to say, oh, we should come back, we should tell other people about that. I think there's a real opportunity there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll be working out the schedule over the coming months with Margaret Bowes, and I think that would be a wonderful thing to do, get them to different parts of Well, even a
Yeah.
partnership with Vail Resorts, right?
Yeah.
Keystone has one of the most advanced snowmaking facilities in the state, right? So could we partner with Vail Resorts in the beginning of October when they might be ramping up operations and being like, this is what a sustainable snowmaking operation looks like? So I think that we could really tie into Keystone specific things, but I don't want to be a dead horse.
No, but I agree with you entirely,
Which one
especially.
seat you're thinking?
Yeah. So I had an SCHA meeting, not a whole lot happened, although one thing that kind of tied in with the screen we saw from SE Group. Frisco said they, on average, subsidize their employee housing $150,000 at build-out, and Breckenridge is per unit, and Breckenridge is well over 200,000 subsidy per unit. And as you saw, compared to market rate here, that money won't go anywhere towards closing the gap if we were market rate, which is why we have to build our own. Deed restricted housing has to be built. You can have programs buying out some local, some houses, but the gap is so big here that there's just not enough inventory to solve our housing problem without construction. But we pretty well knew that, I guess. Emergency Ops Center, we're working on the surge plan in case of any sort of emergency, whether it's evacuation, fire. All the communities will have to have someone involved, and we're identifying who those people are in the community and how they will be involved. Building negotiations, appraisal will be starting next week. We've reached out to 3 inspection companies to get bids to do actual full construction inspection, and we've started the title search. Found the deed restriction on this property, which I wish they would have been a little looser in the language they agreed to when this property was transferred to the Keystone Symposium from, at the time it was Relcorp. So, but we'll work things out. I'm not concerned overly about that. One of the things we'll work out, Vail Resorts, I had a very good discussion with, well, 2 things. We are pretty much set on the medians. Vail Resort is going to continue to do them this summer. We're going to contribute $20,000 to try to make them a little bit nicer, and we'll be working on plans going forward. It'll probably be our responsibility in future years. Thank you, Vail Resorts. Had a very good discussion with Sarah Huey from Government Affairs. Vail Resorts is very interested in participating fully in all of our planning, our comp plan. They had people at the RTAP. They've had, as SE Group pointed out, individual discussions with SE Group in the comp plan. They want to be on our business roundtable, which I'll be bringing up to you next meeting. And they close, last day is April 6th, Sunday, April 6th, so get your turns in. They're snow blowing the greens at the river course I saw on Monday, so get your swings in. And they're having a community day next Thursday, April 3rd. The mayor, Councilmember Hagenow, and I have signed up for that. It's not too late if you're interested. Let me know. They're top of the mountain, playing the snow fork for a while, and then hors d'oeuvres at Mountain House afterwards.
Yeah, and that's largely celebrating nonprofits that we supporting.
Correct.
What day was that again?
April 3rd.
I think it's noon to 4, if I recall.
Yeah, yes, yep. Let me see, I've discussed the retreat. CML conference registration is open. It's in Breckenridge this year. I think you should probably all sign up individually and then get reimbursed. It's the main one. June, yes. Towards the end of June,
25th, I think.
yeah.
It's Tuesday through Friday, leave Friday morning, I think it is.
But, easy for us, we've got plenty of rooms, and I think if you're interested in going, please sign up yourself so that you can pick the individual sides and breakout sessions, and then we'll reimburse you for it. As I said, I will be bringing up, at our next meeting, hopefully, if we have time, workshop discussions on the Business Advisory Committee and the SDR Advisory Committee. We'll get those things going.
I believe that the probably is, first day would be Tuesday the 27th, which is the same day as council meeting.
No, 24th, or 24th.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm off a month,
Okay.
which caused me, yeah, it's 24th. And again, which is a council meeting, and then, ending on the 26th? is it?
27th. Half a day.
Our next meeting is April 8th. I will be out of the office April 10th and 11th, given that the mayor, the financial director, and I will all be in Las Vegas that week.
No, I'm May.
Oh, yes.
There, you have to call me.
Oh, yes, no, you're right. I'm not going to be in Vegas that week either. It's in May.
We were all in
It's
Vegas.
just coincidence.
If we were all in Vegas, if I were the council, I'd be worried.
We really got.
Actually, we will all be in Vegas the first week of May. And I'd like to remind everyone what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. No. We'll probably see each other at the airport.
We're driving, and Linda and I will be spending a little bit of time with Gretchen and Mike.
Wonderful. I am seeing my old college buddies.
Ooh.
Not good.
Yeah. And that's my manager's report. Any questions?
Excellent.
Now it's a report of the mayor and council members, the evening report.
We just need to address the next copy. I saw a recommendation for a different location on that.
I can't take credit for that.
I'm talking about the, what's the
Oh, the
next
cars?
place?
Just love it.
Those locals. Anyway, we have one coming up in a week, right?
It was announced in the daily that I believe, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, it's already been announced for 9 a.m., first Monday. It's steep.
But I think that there is at least a coalition of us that would be in very high support of an alternative location in the future to spread the law.
Okay, well, we have one coming up on the 3rd, that's steep, and I guess we're looking for
The
volunteers.
third of what?
No, right, look.
7 April.
Oh, sorry.
And now we're asking for an evening one, right?
Right.
Yeah, we're looking at doing it in May, an evening one, and kind of set a standard, like once a quarter would be in the evening. But I think we just voted ourselves out of that because did we decide to do the 5th of May for this? Oh, that's at 4 o'clock, so it wouldn't be a problem.
I think, I think Cinco de Mayo might be a big,
Yeah, let's not just focus on Cinco.
I'm not sure how much competition.
It could be fun.
Get good attendance. Anyway, back to the Tuesday. Okay.
Tuesday the 8th is the council.
We could do
The 6th, this
The 8th.
of May.
Oh, I'm fine, I was looking at April for the.
Yeah. May 6th, we could do Dos Locos May 6th.
Let's do that because last time we bumped the evening to Tuesday. So it
Yes.
seems, it doesn't seem out of line.
Question then, April is a coffee with council?
Yes,
That's steep.
That's Steve.
Monday the
And
7th.
then May the
6th,
6th, which is a Tuesday.
right? We'll be bruised with.
Yep.
Chips.
So, are you all willing to ask Gabby to look into whether Dos Locos would, support us? I love Steve, but it'd be nice to share the wealth.
That's right. Yes, that's gonna be great. Lunch with council, tacos with council.
Yeah, one of those.
Okay, so back to my request. We have Monday the 7th that we need to staff.
So excited about jumping ahead.
Since it's,
Well, I thought that was the last meeting, but now the CSA is 6th.
So I've been trying to pay attention to the meeting. I think you had May 6th as the date that the CU students were coming.
Yes, so
So you're gonna do that after that?
if we did chips with council at 6 PM,
Yeah, because they're
Okay.
gonna be with us at 4.
Okay,
We'll be
you're good.
Damn,
Your schedules are okay.
well, a lot of volunteers for this coming
Well, I don't
Monday.
know, nobody else wants to.
Well, and
I will probably have to work, but I can try to change it if nobody else volunteers.
well, no, I can,
Wait, it's not the next Monday, it's the
it's,
7th.
I'm sorry, it's the 7th. So,
Yeah, I can potentially count.
You're gonna have to make an executive decision, Dan. We're all sort of willing,
Yeah.
pretty much willing.
well, I think
If
I,
needed.
well, I think, but
I
he
can
said,
definitely do
how
that.
about you and Carol?
Do you want to hear about that?
Oh, are you not in town?
Yeah, I can be in town at,
Well, I mean,
I can be in town that morning, so I'll just come up on the 6th and, because we have a council meeting on the 8th.
right,
Cool.
We have a night meeting on the 9th.
okay. Okay, so.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump ahead of
No. And so you're, I mean, I'm fine, I'm available.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so it's
You
the
could
2 of
do
you.
it.
Yes, sorry.
One thing that I would like to
We
bring
just
up
all
again,
make things posted.
the last time that we did the evening coffee with council, or whatever we called it, I think that we talked about noticing it, so we could have more than the amount of council. I think it's, what's 2 or 3. So do we want to potentially notice it again, so that there is not a limit on who can attend?
that. Don't we always? We do.
Oh,
Okay,
Yes, so that there's no limitation.
as usual.
look at that, already had it.
Okay, that's all I have.
All right, any other comments? Councilman McCurr?
Lindsay gave us a good report about what the RTAP, the Rural Technical Assistance Program, funded by the state, using grad students from CU. And we'll hear what they have to say later. But I wanted to talk about 2 things. One, we had pretty good turnout, as Lindsay mentioned. We had just shy of 50, I think 49 the first evening, and then we had over 40 on the second day. So, you know, A, food works, B, evenings we need to always consider those. I think the upside of this for our community participants was not just that they had the proverbial voice, but they now feel that they have a stake in our future. It's a very dynamic set of meetings. The second thing we got out of this is we're now connected with very knowledgeable representatives from the state's Office of Economic Development. County Collins is their Rural Business Development Manager, and she knows everything and everybody with respect to business incentives and opportunities. Matt Nunez is the Senior Program Manager with that same office. He's also a second homeowner here, and he's specifically responsible for 2 years of advisory support to whatever we decide to take on based on the RTAP recommendations. So I thought those were wins for the community and for us going forward.
You wouldn't bring up NRO?
It's going to wait till other matters.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Any other reports? The one report I have is 9 News, Matt Renault, who provided a lot of TV coverage for us prior to incorporation, has called and asked for an interview for a 1-year update. That's going to happen tomorrow. And the council, I think he wants to be at the town hall, so it'll probably happen
Are you looking for our participation or just telling us?
I'm telling you. Yeah, he specifically asked me for an interview. And now we go to other matters, so with that, Councilmember Kerr?
I was at several events recently where I was approached by a staffer with the National Repertory Orchestra, NRO, and Maya at KNC, separately, interestingly enough, both interested in doing an NRO performance or two here in Keystone. Maya, I said, oh, well, we'd be interested in learning more, not committing to anything, certainly not knowing yet what the costs are. I sent you all the email from Maya about what the actual NRO costs would be and the fact that there would be some additional costs associated with setup and publicity. At this point, you've got the information. I think at this point, all we should do is consider, are we interested in that sort of thing? And John can, sorry, I'm gonna volunteer you, can follow up on dates and cost sharing as is appropriate for our budget. But what do you think? Is this something we want to try?
It does.
Where would we hold it?
Well, Maya, not surprisingly, recommended that we hold it at that outdoor amphitheater adjacent to Warren Station at River Run.
Is that big enough?
It's tiny.
It's minuscule.
I think they're not expecting a huge turnout.
But I mean, how
I'm
many
gonna
musicians
guess.
are there? Because I think orchestra, and I don't think orchestra fitting.
So, please understand, I am not a spokesperson for the NRO, but I have gone to a few of them, and I've gone to them where they're huge, big orchestras, small little, I don't know, quartets that go into libraries here in Summit County, so it can kind of build it, I think, to our specs, our expectations, and to the venue.
It might be a cool presentation by the town of Keystone and Keystone Resorts and like partnership.
Well, as I remember, the cost on this was what, $4,000 a performance, something like that?
$1,500 for
$1,500 performance. So,
I guess, I like the idea, but do we just throw a dart at the calendar and said, this is the date, does this align with anything
So
specific?
NRO has already identified possible dates.
I have,
In your emails, right?
No, I'm reading it right now, but where, like, the 26th, the 28th, the 24th, right, or the 2nd, like, what are
I
these
think their
dates?
summer plans are pretty set, and those are holes that they've identified.
Okay.
I love the NRO. I have been to NRO shows. I'm currently sitting on a bunch of NRO tickets because I bid on them at some auctions because I love the NRO. So the idea of us looking at spending taxpayer dollars to beautify the community, promoting art and music, I think is a good idea. But I want to see an actual plan that's more than like, oh, we'll just do it in the Quaking Aspen Amphitheater, which is tiny. We're planning on charging $10 a ticket. You can't control traffic around there. So like come up with an actual, okay, that's not what it says in the proposal though.
That was a proposal for KNC, and I'm gonna guess that that was to get us off the duff. Or else, many of the NRO outdoor, I think all of the outdoor performances and the library performances are free. You go inside Riverwalk, of course, there's a lot of.
Right, and they're quite affordable at Riverwalk too. And I just want to make sure that we're bringing this to where it best benefits our community if we're spending taxpayer money. And that we have a viable plan to handle the amount of people who might be there, because you do it in River Run, okay, Thursday it's probably not too busy, but I'm just thinking out loud that this needs some thought before we jump on
And
it.
just to be clear, you know, John's job is going to be to do that legwork and figure out and negotiate. Truly, all I'm asking, shall we give him some guidance to follow through? You know, he won't commit.
I would also, I support that. We need to understand, I agree with
Right.
the council member. permit, that we need to understand a little bit more what's involved. I would recommend just reading the email. We look at potentially 2 presentations. You could potentially do one over in the River Run area, and then on the second, I think it was, do something like Village.
Set up the white tent again.
Yeah.
I think that's a lovely idea.
Lakeside Village has the ability, because it's a more expansive outdoor area, to set up and get a lot more people there.
Yeah, and this would be the first time in a couple of years that we will have actually had some event in the 4th of July time period that has been lacking the last couple of years.
So what I'm hearing, generally, and myself included, is we like the idea, we would just like more iron out.
More iron and make sure that things would be potentially possible. I know KNC probably wouldn't want to play if both of them were sitting over in Lakeside Village. But Lakeside Village is a great venue.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
For you guys' guidance. What else on other business, other matters? You were exactly right on the choice. On other matters.
Oh, yeah.
Any other matters?
Just, yes, I guess this is a discussion point. They kind of built off the earlier discussion around how do we support our residents in purchasing their bear canisters. And I love the idea of like trying to use funds available from state, we should absolutely do that. I guess the question is, what kind of messaging do we want to have to our residents about, we're working on this and you don't have to delay buying. Here's what I kind of want to test the waters at from council, because I love the message, but you don't have to delay buying a bear-proof canister because the bear's about to come out of hibernation. Buy it now, we might not be able to help you out today, but we'll help you out, next month or whatever. And let people feel empowered to buy now and know that they'll still be covered in part of some way.
Well, we still have to approve the grant.
Understand.
So next, I don't know, but I do know that the town was considering going forward regardless of any state funds. So at our next meeting, I think one way or the other, we should institute a grant program. We'll know the limitations on the state funds and we'll have better recommendations on how to run it from someone who's been doing this.
I guess my thought is like, I'd support some sort of retroactive from the point that we passed that ordinance. It's one or the other.
We can't make that decision tonight because we didn't notice that decision tonight. So we can make a decision on a grant program at the April 8th meeting without a doubt at all.
I was just, I don't want to make any promises that we don't know that we can commit yet. I mean, I really appreciate it, especially with the bears coming out. But, if we can wait 2 weeks, I think I go with that risk.
The opportunity with the state grant is similar probably to what the county did, is they paid the full cost of a bear-proof container. I don't think I would be prepared as a council to pay the full cost of a bear-proof container. That's the challenge we have. And right now, I don't know whether if we promised, if the state, because most state grants will only pay you for funds expended after you're on contract. So you could not handle a retro. That's what John has to figure out.
Yeah.
Councilmember Kerr.
That makes total sense. You're gonna look into the costs, so we understand. Did you get a chance to do that?
Yeah,
That's
no,
fine.
because I'm meeting with the expert on this on Thursday.
No, I don't mean what, they
Yeah.
might pick up a tab, but does anybody, I think John mentioned.
Yeah, $300 to $400 for a can. $300 to $400.
So the other question was, can you rent can we offset costs for a certain amount of money, maybe, for anyone who's renting You don't actually buy it from us.
We could certainly make that decision.
Okay.
We can't make it tonight, because we didn't notice this, but
And if I could kind of echo, Councilmember Carmet's concern, can we not suggest that it's coming? Are we waiting for the 30 days before we start?
no, it wouldn't be an ordinance, it would be a
Yeah, so
resolution.
we can start publicizing that it's coming.
What, the grant program?
No, the program.
The policy.
Oh, the policy, yes, yes.
We should start early,
That's his
encourage often, and we can be vague and saying there will be some financial support, and we don't have to be specific about how much, but we're gonna do something for you. So don't hesitate to get your cans.
I would, no, we cannot say there's gonna be financial support, because this council has not made that decision and cannot make that decision tonight. If they make the decision April 8th, we can push out that there is a bear-proof container ordinance that is going into effect this year. You can reach out to us and get the details. Bear season is coming up right away. We don't necessarily need to say that they're not required till August, but we can.
Could you, in that communication, say the town is considering a grant program?
I don't actually necessarily see the purpose in that because if we don't approve a grant program, we are encouraging people to make a decision based. I don't want to speculate on what the council can do to our public.
And they don't really put it off until they know.
Yeah.
Councilmember Fiskett.
Even though it's not technically going into effect until August, I agree with Aaron. And I would like to see a formal communication, not only that says, I would like it to be more detailed than reach out for details. And maybe push that out through KOA, our email list, and encourage KOA to put those messages out to their HOA presidents, so those formal messages can be distributed broadly. I think the more notice, the better, and a lot of us already have bear-proof cans, but I think notice of the ordinance should go out sooner rather than later and be as detailed as possible in regards to the different requirements with garbage cans versus dumpster changes.
What I meant by not detailed is we don't have to explain that the requirement is not due until August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Councilmember Higgins.
So I know we can't make a decision on the grant program, but are we allowed to give general feedback or guidance on what this program looks like that would be presented to us next meeting?
I would wait until I get information from the state so that we're not just throwing, the state might say, look, you're a shoo-in for a grant that will cover the full cost of everything you do. Or they might say, yeah, there'll be no money for you, in which case we'll have to work out our own. But regardless, I think we should not be making decisions when we have some real valuable information that's coming in later this week.
I look at that grant program and they seem to be set up for big projects. My hope is in this era of fiscal constraint, they may get excited about making a difference with a micro grant.
This one, for the amount of dollars that we're talking about, this is a big project for us.
Yeah.
We're talking $100,000 for this program.
Their
It's
big
big.
projects are way bigger than
For the grant program, I looked at the grant program online, and for this particular grant program, Summit County got one of the largest awards last year at $115,000.
Even though it says it's between 50 and 500,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
they have $1 million they have $1 million to spread out to the grants.
If we got 50,000, we could buy a bear-proof can for every single person in Keystone.
If we got 500,000, we could buy cans and our HOA still enclosures and, yeah. So, I think this decision should be made when we have a better idea of what's going on.
So are we going to send out communication
Yes,
sooner rather than
yeah,
later so we can
yes.
start notifying?
Yep, absolutely.
Any other matters? Hearing none, that was the last item we have scheduled. Without objection, I'll adjourn the meeting.
New record, ladies and gentlemen.
But we
Oh, we've
still
been
have
early
an hour and
before,
10
but we
minutes.
always had executive meeting afterwards.
I agree. You're right.
I'm not efficient, but we're getting there.